The NFL decided to completely revamp the Pro Bowl this season, which was a good decision considering the old one completely sucked. The league is trying their best and opted to do a flag football game and a bunch of skills competitions. Now, the Pro Bowl does still suck, but it is maybe getting better. My favorite of the skills showdown was definitely precision passing. Sometimes I do think we forget that these are the best athletes in the world, and being able to see the quarterbacks directly showcase their arms and just how talented they are is really cool. Tyler Huntley ended up performing well, and I think that gives us a good lesson. For one, the Pro Bowl is a complete joke because Tyler Huntley made it.
You up there talking shit?
But also that even backup quarterbacks are so talented. Huntley is not a starting caliber NFL quarterback, but he's still so talented and an amazing athlete, and was able to go toe-to-toe with some of the best passers in the league in a skills game. There is a wide range of targets, and I thought it was cool that one of them is up on like a drone. There were also these little robots that you had to hit on a slant route, and they were super fast. Unless Tyreek Hill was sprinting at full speed, no one is really running slants like that. The NFC did win it, and it came down to Derek Carr to win it at the end, and he got the job done in his old practice facility in Las Vegas, and it came with an all-time self-burn after.
Thrown touchdown passes in Vegas before. You've been on fire. Have you ever been that hot in Las Vegas?
Not that hot. It's probably why I'm going somewhere else.
The lightning round was fine. I didn't really care too much for the water balloon toss, but Terry McLaurin did have a really cool catch, and always love to see that as a Commanders fan. The jugs machine drill was definitely my favorite of the lightning round. I don't know what it is, but something about watching defensive linemen, and especially offensive linemen, trying to catch basically punts with multiple other footballs was just funny to watch. But they were a lot better than I expected. The thrill of the spill was cool, just because you got to watch offensive and defensive linemen throw the ball like a quarterback, but the bucket dropped confetti on Eli Manning instead of water or something cool, so that was disappointing. The longest drive is super fun to watch. Obviously, a lot of guys play golf in the offseason, but it's also pretty clear that others don't. Deron Payne and Zadarius Smith specifically do not play golf. Zadarius even joked that he watched a YouTube video before to figure out how to drive the ball. The competition definitely was not fair at all. The AFC had Jordan Poyer go last, and he said his handicap is 3 during the offseason, which is nuts. He ended up winning it all on his last drive. Dodgeball, I do think, is most people's favorite thing at the Pro Bowl, and that's fair. It's super fun, and I like the way they do it. Both conferences have their own games between the offense and defense, then the winner in each conference go and play each other. The AFC defense rocked the AFC offense, and then the NFC offense beat the NFC defense with a bit of controversy. Saquon Barkley was 1-on-2 and ended up getting Trayvon Diggs out to be 1-on-1 with Demario Davis. Demario got Barkley, but he hit him in the face, which is illegal, so the offense did move on. Micah Fitzpatrick ended up on a 3-1 and ended up losing for an NFC W in the final game. The last skill competition that happened on Thursday was these videos for the best catch. It was kind of odd because it was previously recorded, but they were still pretty cool. Stephon Diggs caught 3 balls and one with his legs in a pool. Pat Surtain caught a pass on a zip line. Justin Jefferson caught a pass from the Eiffel Tower, and Amon-Ra St. Brown caught a pass while running on these things in a pool. That ended up being the first of 2 parts. Diggs and Amon-Ra completed after the first 2 flag football games on Sunday, and Amon-Ra ended up winning on a pretty cool catch after he jumped over the Lions mascot and caught a lob from his brother Equanimous St. Brown, who had caught a pass from Michael Vick. There were also 3 big-time judges: LaDainian Tomlinson, Snoop Dogg, and Pete Davidson. The best catch was one of 4 skill things on Sunday. There was Kick-tac-toe that ended up being a complete bust in my opinion. All 3 special team guys competed. The kickers and punters had to go from 45 yards and the long snapper from 25. Neither of the kickers or punters ever hit the board, and it was just a pretty boring long snap competition. The gridiron gauntlet was actually kind of cool because it had a bunch of guys working together in a relay. Defensive linemen had to break through a wall, and linebackers had to go through an obstacle course type of thing before running backs ran through tires, and finally a good old offensive lineman sled push with Eli Manning and Peyton Manning on the sled. The NFC won mainly because Nick Chubb basically just stepped on the tires instead of going through them and had to go back and restart. The move the chains was cool. Bunch of huge dudes having to get weights off of the back of a wall and then all had to pull the wall past a line. I don't know what it is, but I just like seeing the big dudes get their airtime. It's usually all about the quarterbacks or skill players. The AFC did absolutely dominate both rounds too. The big change for the Pro Bowl this year was that instead of a boring game where nobody really tried, we kind of got a bit of a fun flag football game. They played 3 games. The Geno Smith NFC team won the first game after a late CeeDee Lamb touchdown. Trevor Lawrence won the second game for the AFC. That led to a finale game that started with the score at 21-15 in favor of the AFC for points from all the previous skills competitions and flag football games. It actually ended up coming down to the wire. The NFC ended up winning by 2 points and did decide to kneel the ball late, and Peyton Manning did not like that and said it was against the rules. He is probably right considering quarterbacks can't run, but certainly was funny to see him fired up over flag football. I wouldn't say that I absolutely loved the Pro Bowl this year, and I think that's just the nature of a Pro Bowl. It's hard to get these guys to really put all their effort and really want to go at it, but at the very least, I do think I enjoyed it more than past years. The overall game that the NFL has had for years has always been very, very boring. None of these guys are going to be willing to put their body on the line for just some silly kind of all-star game. So I think doing these skill competitions where it's fun for a lot of the players and, you can get a little bit of bragging rights, maybe, especially with like precision passing or even dodgeball, where these guys can kind of just joke around and have a good time. It's a lot more worthwhile and more fun to watch than some game where nobody's blocking or even really trying to play defense or stop the other team. The NFL has definitely had a Pro Bowl problem for a long time, and that extends past just the game. It also extends to who is getting in and why are they getting in. I think Tyler Huntley is the big one to point out this year. It is absolutely criminal that Tyler Huntley was in the Pro Bowl this season. There is just no good explanation for that other than people can vote for whoever they want. And that is why a Pro Bowl nomination doesn't really mean anything. I think in terms of an All-Pro, that is a very big honor. And you were clearly one of the best in the league if you're an All-Pro, but if you're a Pro Bowler, then who really cares? The skills competitions were all very fun. I think the ones that they did after like the flag football game on Sunday, those were a little boring, but they were like these cool little competitions. The best catch competition I didn't really enjoy personally, but I did like some of the ones that actually were on Thursday. Precision passing was a lot of fun. Lightning round was fine. But of course, dodgeball is a fan favorite, and I think everybody always loves watching these super athletic freaks trying to play dodgeball. I think maybe my favorite part of the Pro Bowl was kind of getting a look into all these guys, just kind of talking to each other and hanging out with each other. Having Eli Manning and Peyton Manning be the coaches for AFC and NFC was absolutely hilarious and a great move by the NFL. We got to see not only the players all interact with each other, but we also got to see the players interact with like Eli and Peyton and kind of just all have a great time. And I think that's what the Pro Bowl is really about. Ultimately, the Pro Bowl is still pretty boring, and I don't think that's ever really gonna change. But at the very least, I do have to applaud the NFL for really trying to make it better. And maybe if they continue to make these improvements and really hone in on the skills competitions that everyone kind of finds fun, I think the Pro Bowl could end up being a good product over time.